Can we finish AMD real quick and then we can get to the Qs?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it all looks good. I mean, so nobody should be thinking short. I don't care what we're talking about, even if it's TMDX. I'm not thinking shorts, just because it's very counter trend. Maybe you can go long TMDX if you're waiting. Go for it. So the bull market is back. I think the 20-day, you get a little bit of pop. You're not out of the weeds, but this looks more than constructive on AMD. It's just a choppy place. So I think what I would say here is like be in with time. When do these guys report? When does AMD report? Feb 4th. I actually don't trust TradingView that much. If you guys know when they report. Maybe you. Yeah, February 4th.
February 4th, yeah.
So we've hit there. This is out. This is probably not going to happen right now. So we're going to hit this area. This is 131. You remember that 128 area. So I think we get back to I think you get back to retest that 128 area right in here. You're probably going to look like a little bit of a double top, and it might stall right there to 128, 130. If it can get through, that would be ideal. That's this area, right? And this prior top. So it needs to get over 130 comfortably. February 4th, that's next Tuesday. It's not a lot of time, but this is a pretty crazy market right now. It's very possible. I saw a little bit of a gap.
Palantir is getting the pump, guys, off this AI announcement.
So this is one where I would not, even though I was short a bunch of times at like 128 or whatever, I'm not going to take it short again at this 130 level. So I think that you're not out of this trajectory, this like prevailing downtrend, but if you took a shot, I think that's fine. If you can get through 130, call it 131, then you really should see the 150s. Regardless of valuation, I don't have to agree with that. In this case, I wouldn't.
But earnings would be the catalyst to get past 131, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you're looking back into this area, 150s. So if you're long dated, let's say you have 125 calls, long dated, and you're looking for a 150 plus target, that means that you want to be at least, depending on how much time you have, probably 25, $40, depending on how much time you have for at the money calls, give or take, if you get to 150. But I think this is where you take a breather. At this point, if you're really an AMD fan, I think you go for it ahead of earnings. So the setup here is regardless of the fundamentals, the technicals are setting up that it might be better than feared. If that makes sense. So a potential better than feared result could give you a nice little pop.
Okay. Can we do let's do SMCI, then we'll do Disney, because people
why do we like Disney? Oh, because of Netflix.
Yeah. But SMCI, our boys Chris, Matt, and Steve are long SMCI. All three of them.
I mean,
what I'm gonna do is on earnings, before earnings, I'm gonna buy a DGen call, and if I lose all my money, I'm gonna blame them. If it tanks, and if it goes,
we know what they're in. Are we gonna do this?
I mean, I think they all think it can get to 50. That's their kind of
so it doesn't help me. Do we know what they're in though? In equity, or those guys are like
Steve's in equity. Steve's in equity. Chris and Matt, I believe, are in leaps.
Okay, there you go. So Steve is an equity dude. Chris
has a spread. He has some
I know he has some like ridiculous 30, 35 call debit spread or something stupid. Wait a second.
Let me check. I think his strikes are higher than that, but yes.
Well, he's gonna be a 40, 45 or 45, 50 call debit spreads is what he's gonna
probably something around that.
for $1.
He has
So here's the thing.
oh,
If we're
40 75s. 40 on the long, 75 on the short. 2 years out.
I was pretty close. I said 40-50.
Yeah.
40 to 75.
So it's a
I
$35.
forgot the strikes go all the way up there.
Their
in
thesis
January.
is the accounting thing is not serious. That's their point. The whole management is not trustworthy thing. So they're essentially speculating on the fact that the market is overreacting to it.
Here's what I'll tell you. This is not a time to buy spreads on SMCI. Period. Full stop. You do not want to have a debit spread on SMCI here now. If you're going to take the bet, you take the bet and you take it directional. Because the truth is that the volatility is so low on SMCI heading into earnings is 35 percentile, 35th percentile. That means it's like in the bottom quarter of what it ever has been. And it's been going sideways. So I can just, without going through the numbers, I can look at the chart and tell you that this is probably going to be underpriced from a directional perspective. It's been going sideways for the better part of 90 days. It's been at $30-some. I'm looking at the IV on the underlying. That's at 35th percentile, which is extremely low. Historical IV percentile is 11. Dude, it's 11. So there's not really a benefit to selling upside call premium for sure. I think this is one where you just take it for what it is.
You go long on the leaps. Yeah. You assume that
because this is a setup where
real quick, Jason, before you continue, thank you, Jay James, for the gifted 10 memberships. Appreciate that. 10 of you guys just got memberships. He said he found me in 2021 when he was buying Palantir. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I mean, this is a hell of a market, right? So I think they could be right in terms of, so I think that they will report really well and the stock will probably get a pop. It's the question of, does the full market believe them? And I think they might, right? Like for a little while. I'm happy that SMCI is not in the NASDAQ anymore. That's a positive. And is it what's the word? Like, is the downside priced in? I think it could be.
That's their point. Their point is that if they lose their money, they lose their money. But this thing would have to
look. $75 a minute is not. It's honestly, it seems like a lot, but it's not out of this world.
No, I agree.
It's literally just from here to here. The thing was at like hundreds, not that long ago. So
yeah.
To get back to 75 is more than 70 is more than reasonable. So I would actually defer to Steve's bet here, either equity or if you want to take a shot, the real way to do this is to buy an at the money straddle. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I would have no problem. Do you want to do this? When do they report?
February something, if they're even going to give us a real report.
So the chart to me looks like it's going to be underpriced.
Yeah, I think it's like mid-February. February 4th. That's quick. That's like
it's next Tuesday.
Okay.
So I got the last 6 earnings up here. So 18.1 plus 20.1.
Palantir 75 after hours.
Oh my God.
It's getting a little pumpy pump from Trumpy Trump and his AI announcement. Wow, 75.40, dude. That's a big move. That's 3%. That's not a small move on Palantir.
That's what we said it was going to.
It's a good move. That is not a bad move. Shout out to Dookie Pie. He was on Hood Weekly yesterday. That name is just, you have to say that name when they're in the chat.
Okay.
Shout out to you.
So SMCI has an average move of 15.6%. Currently, I'm telling you, dude. So currently, the stock is implying a $2.50 move. It's underpriced, definitively.
100%. 100%. That's correct.
All right, wait, I'm on the wrong expression. Shit. Okay, $4. It's still underpriced. It's implying a $4.45 move.
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to have good margins, which was the issue last time, and good revenue growth and actually file their earnings, or it's not. Like that's the bet.
Yeah.
Netflix, by the way, $9.95 after hours.
There you go. So what I will say right here, right now, even though there's like a 13% implied move, that is underpriced historically. The options for SMCI are definitively, by definition, mispriced, underpriced. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
You guys see how I did it though?
Yeah.
I took the data, right? Last year and a half worth of like earnings, average move 16, took the current like option pricing at the money straddle. It's pricing of 13 and change. It's underpriced by 3%. So you could buy an at the money put and an at the money call, and that would actually not be, the odds would be on your side. All right.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, so you and me both have to go long SMCI on earnings, and then we get to blame, or at least I'm definitely going to do it. I get to blame Chris and
Matt. I'm doing what I'm telling you. We buy the straddle, and then we blame them for the loss on the calls, and then we'd be like, "Yo, but I inversed your ass, and I won."
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Okay, guys, put some tickers in the chat. What other tickers have we not done yet? Can we do Apple? Let's do that one.
Yeah, so Apple, dude, really close. I actually took a shot anyway. So this is coming in hot to a pretty key level on Apple. So just slightly over your 200-day simple. It's usually a decent spot. It's kind of like where, so I feel like it's de-risk, but it may not be over. So usually what I like to do is I like to buy a higher low below like a key SMA. So like if this is low, 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 this one would be a higher low. That was the same kind of thing. So Palo Alto, it was this low, ends up being, I think it was intraday. So it wasn't this day, it was this day right here, which was a higher low. So if this was the low the day before, this day ends up being a higher low below a key moving average. That's why I took it. I like this type of setup. So Apple's very close. Depending on your time horizon, you're probably fine. But I think that puts it probably around that 216 level. Just slightly below. I think you have some decent support. That said, right where you are here now, 215. I really, if you don't own Apple, I think you buy it here with low expectations. Like I'm not going to say I think it goes like V recovery. I don't think so. The setup into earnings is very good though. You can't deny that, right?
I can't deny that.
Yeah, the setup into earnings is pretty good. So I think, Thursday is supposed to be earnings this.
Breaking news. President Trump just proposed a 10% China tariff.
Did they go up?
Is the 10-year dumping on that? Hold on, let's see. Or you're spiking on that. The 10-year is fine. The dollar is the dollar's fine. Market's okay with that. 10% is fine. Dollar's actually at 107. 107.9.
107 is good. Remember, by the way, like if you guys haven't been following Technical Tuesdays for the last few weeks, we've been saying two things. Like definitively, number one, what was it? Dollar 109. That's the level where we and this was when this was inauguration day. It was kind of popping. We're like, no, right into overhead resistance. We said this live. Big flush. The second barometer reading we want to see was the yields coming down. This is the 10-year yield. This is not the bond. This is the yield coming down. So both of these two things, just more confluence from your like hot, cold, like, stoplight, red light, green light. They're still flashing green.
10% is not 20%, and I think the market freaked out at 25% last night. 10% is okay. That's not too bad.
When do we get the rate decision for Japan?
I think 24th in 3 days.
So in 3 days, then the dollar is going to crash also?
not crash, but if it goes down another 0.5%, that'd be nice.
So I had somebody ask me about that today. I was like, what about like the whole yen carry trade thing? How does that affect that?
Well, it's priced in. I mean, it can't be a black swan. Everyone knows there's an 80% chance they hike, so no one's going to be positioned to the point where they get screwed on the carrying of the yen if they know it's going to hike. So I doubt there's any like real fear people should have on that.
So Apple, by the way, I think you could trade this. Here's what I was saying about Apple. I think you could trade this off the 200. If you get a pop tomorrow, I think you see 128s again quickly. But I think you, depending on your time horizon, I think this is a good spot to DCA if you have a long enough time horizon for a never sell bucket, if that makes sense. I'd like a little bit lower, but I've been greedy lately and I've missed a couple entries because I've been wanting lower, right? Like I really wanted more Redwire at 13. I mentioned I had that limit order sitting at 15 and I was like, it's going down. I bought a little bit. And then I wanted it 13. I didn't get it. So I missed that. Rocket Lab, I missed the big ad on the 21 something. So I think this is another one where like, dude, I like to buy the fear, like when they're just like crapping all over Apple right now. I don't hate it, but I don't think it's going to go straight up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fair. Can we do Disney? And then we'll do Bitcoin. Also, apparently Trump just said, I'm open to Elon Musk buying TikTok.
Wait, we got to do Tessie. No movement.
Tesla's doing on that. The problem with Elon buying TikTok, I don't think he's going to have to sell Tesla, but everyone thinks he's going to have to sell Tesla to do it. But I think he's just going to raise money from other investors. If he does
what's the deal about? Is this something you talked about earlier? Or?
What, TikTok?
Not Disney.
No. Someone in the chat. They want to see Disney.
Oh, it's not something you brought up. It's no touch. I mean, you can play with it, but like, okay, it's a really bullish market. Now we're coming down a little bit, but I don't know that this is going to be my down. I don't pay attention to this kind of stuff.
So you don't like Disney here at all?
No. I like Disney at like sub 90. When you get okay, that opportunity is gone. I don't know if you're I don't know that you're buying Disney net new here. I don't like that personally. Because you have new leadership that's coming in. I love Iger, but Bobby's gone. Bobby's on his way out. It's channeled down. You usually get this sub 100. You want to buy weakness for sure on Disney. This is not exactly weakness. But
do we think the numbers, if Netflix had such good numbers, will Disney have such good numbers?
But Disney has so many other things going on with it, right? So like,
no, I get it, but I feel like this was a tailwind across the holiday season. Or do you think it's a Netflix?
They don't have any lives. No, they don't have any live events. Do they? No. Like, first of all, I pay for Disney Plus and I pay for Netflix. And I like Disney Plus stuff, but like, no, I watch 10x more Netflix than I do Disney Plus.
What about your kid? Does he watch Bluey or anything like that on Disney?
Yeah, but that's not Disney. Well, it's on Disney, but like dude, he has like a crush on Miss Rachel for sure. Like Miss Rachel's he's got a thing. I don't know what it is, but it's all babies and Miss Rachel. She's got their number, man. I don't know. Anyways, 110 is a big spot, right? Big spot at congestion. You probably get there, right? So like, can you take it? So this is the kind of thing where it's like, okay, here's where I'm at. Am I high risk or low risk here? Because 110, you're gonna run into a lot of sellers, right? Or to me, potential sellers. Because like you're in Disney and you're looking at Tempest, you're looking at Nvidia, you're looking at the Mag 7 about to report. Yes, Netflix just did good. It might get a pop, but like it's to where it's sitting at 109.50 right now. your upside, you got to know at 111 you're gonna get hit and it's gonna chop. So unless you have like a much longer term view, if you did, I think you're okay. But you're right into a lot of this. So like here's this another like kind of downtrend. You have all your SMAs. You're gonna get smacked at. Yeah, I would be more inclined to short this. I just said I'm not gonna think about shorting. This is not. I don't like Disney. Here it probably goes up, but like what is your upside?
Right. Well, I've never loved Disney as an investment either, and Netflix is actually profitable on streaming.
No, I like Disney as an investment. Like, and I bought Disney multiple times as an investment in the 80s, but never in the hundreds.
So wait, the difference is the hundreds. The valuation gets like, what's the difference?
The hundreds is where I will pair off my 120. I will pair off that little thing because you're in a massive consolidation here. So like, I don't know. I mean,
dude, Disney was 250 in 2021. Like this thing.
I'm well aware, but that was Iger, and Iger is not going to be around much longer. That's what I love it. I love Iger. I love Iger. So I think if it breaks this, you probably this one I think you probably go, but like I was trying to say, you have to have that longer term time horizon because closer to 100 is a better risk reward. But if you're not in it already, and you're looking at it, it's like, okay, you're going to be okay. I would kind of rather take it higher. I would rather get long higher, if that makes sense, like over 120, because like this has still got a lot of overhead resistance. Once this is over 120, like comfortably, it's in the clear, right? But for now, it's been consolidating for a couple of years. So can it get back up there? Yeah, for sure. But it doesn't have, it has Bob, but he's on his way out. I don't hate it, but I'm not like, oh my God, I'm in love with it. I would buy this for my son, if that makes sense. Like if you have that kind of horizon.
For your son, would you rather buy Palantir at 75 or Disney at 1?
Disney.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I'd buy Palantir any day of the week over Disney. For my kid.
No, for my kids, no. Because I know Disney's been around for 100 years. They'll be around for another 100 years. I know that you don't believe Disney's going to be around for another 100 years. Actually, we've had that conversation.
I don't know if they're going to be relevant in 100 years.
Well, but they'll be around. I don't know if Palantir is going to be relevant in 100 years.
You take that back.
Technology moves really fast. Right now. I've seen a lot of stuff come and go. Because they're probably they might get bought, dude.
Dude, Palantir is not getting. What are you saying, bro?
You never know.
They're not selling.
We're talking about 100 years, man.
That's
you know how many gray hairs you're gonna have?
Oh, my great grandkids are gonna frame my shares on their wall, and it's gonna be my memories. Okay, can we do Bitcoin? Because we haven't done Bitcoin. Can we do that?
Even Jason goes stand in the corner. All right, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised we haven't talked about this yet. Is this not the most bullish thing ever, or what are you thinking on?
What's that?
Bitcoin.
No.
Like we're breaking over multiple 105s every other hour. Like I feel like, I don't know. It feels kind of bullish. We had all-time highs yesterday at 3 a.m. 109, right? And then Trump didn't mention us in his inauguration that we dumped, but now we're back.
Yeah. So it's bullish. It's bullish, but the chart is a little exhausted. I think that there's going to come a point where it's going to bang up against this wall, and eventually it's going to pop, and it's going to pop like kaboom. But we have to, whatever that catalyst is. I don't know if it's what did he release today? It wasn't like the strategic reserve today, right?
No, it was a crypto task force. And by the way, hold on. We got some breaking news, Jason. We got some breaking freaking news. Trump meme coin is down 30% because Trump was just asked about the meme coin and he said, I quote, "I don't know very much about it."
Why is that? Why would that be bearish? Oh, look at that. It's back up.
No, is it? Wait, where is it? It's at 39. It just hit 34. Now it's back to, dude, this thing is volatile.
It's at 40.
It was just at 34 like 5 minutes ago. So Trump said, I don't know much about it. That's what he said. It's a good answer, to be honest. Like,
good answer. Good answer.
He's avoiding it.
Actually, so 35. Do you own this? Are you on this?
I do not own this, no. But a lot of people are buying it on Hood, which I'm happy about.
35.
Do you own this?
No. But no, I don't. Crypto is so frothy right now, though. Like, I could see why you could. I think the money was been made, right? So now you have to know it's risky. It's risky as hell, right? I don't know what the market cap is at this point.
Okay, can we go back to Bitcoin then? What are you thinking on?
It's got a hold. So this 35s, Trump coin.
I think it's gonna trade like DJT, bro.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that, which is like super. Like it's like GME. What were we looking at?
Bitcoin.
So I think, time horizon, I think Bitcoin, you're good. So I want to see the characteristic again of Bitcoin specifically. Do the dips continue to get bought? And I think when we talked about it earlier in the week, we're like, okay, well, the inauguration may be a sell the news event. Ends up being a very small sell the news event, which could be a viable dip opportunity. This 102.50, I think, is key right now for near-term momentum. Again, does this have to crack here now? No, it doesn't, right? So like I like this consolidation up here, but I could see like 1, 2, and then sorry, that was not really the best PC drawing. Good thing he didn't see that. But like the fourth try up on this wall here, right? So 108. So we got one try, right? One. Then we got 2 tries, 2. We can have 3. I think the third one probably fails miserably down in here somewhere. But on this 4th attempt, that should go.
Right.
So that's like 95s, which again, technically super tight SMAs. It's a decent setup. So the dips should be viable here.
Well, in general, do you feel we are toppy on crypto as an industry, or Trump is super bullish? What would you characterize the current landscape?
Do I feel like we're toppy? No, I think we're I think we're a little exhausted, but it's going to happen.
But then you said Trump meme coin is frothy. So what implications does that have on Bitcoin?
That's the environment. That means that, so to me, that's bullish, right? Because like there's still a lot of, so number one, there's a bunch of cash on the sidelines that's ready to deploy, right? Number two, like a lot of eyes are on the crypto verse right now. So I still think like, dude, okay, last call below 100 nibbles. I'm sorry if you're not long already. I don't know what to tell you. But as long as this is hovering around 100, it's accumulating, or it's setting up to make a move to the 120 plus. And that's when you'll see that exhaustion.
Yeah.
If it moves. But at this point, we could have a dip. So we went from trappy to choppy. Right. And now we're then we're going to be trendy. So the market, I think, is in the trendy spot already. So we're trending up. So now you could start to look more breakout type stuff, whereas opposed to the week before, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you didn't want to be doing that. So now maybe we could start seeing some of these breakout type trades while we're going to be trendy in the stock market. The crypto market is a little choppy here, but that's usually what happens right before you trend, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I have another question for you on Bitcoin, and then we'll do Google. But before that, let me play this quick 20 seconds of our president acknowledging or not acknowledging his meme coin.
I don't know where it is. I don't know much about it other than I launched it. I heard it was very successful. I haven't checked it. Where is it today?
They made a lot of money, sir.
How much?
Several $billion, it seems like, in the last several days.
Several billion? That's peanuts for these guys.
Bro, what is happening? What
billion
is
peanuts, man.
happening right now? Oh my goodness.
Several billion is peanuts. He can fix the deficit in a blink of an eye.
Okay, so that was Trump. Now this is a question on Bitcoin. You've been in this for a while. What are obvious signs that our audience would benefit from around trying to call a top around Bitcoin, or trying to say, all right, this thing is getting really frothy, it's time to trim? What do you think?
No.
I understand. I understand you're long forever. I get it. But like, what is a November 2021 type of sign? I think people would people want to tactically take away something in this environment to understand when Bitcoin feels a little bit.
Q4 blow off top. Q4 blow off top. Q2 usually marks a near term top, which is April-ish. And so it's going. So what will happen? So, okay. To say we've just straight up overdone it is after we get through the winter season. I hate saying this. So it's seasonal. We get through the cold months, we should be popping. Summer comes around, we're probably going to sell off a little bit. But if come next eating season, remember, I use these terms so it's easier for people to remember. But if we get to the next eating season, which is like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, through Valentine's Day. If we get there, but we don't have another rally, that's not good. That will mark your top, if that makes sense. Yeah. So expect this to continue on, but it's not going to be till the end of the year that, like, if we don't get that Q4 type rally, it's not really that great. Oh, I did forget Super Bowl. Good call.
That's fair. I think that's a fair answer. It's a very fair answer. Okay, can we do Google?
Google, yeah. So close to 200. I always, by the way, it's always GOOGL. It's always with the L. Don't do the one without the L. I don't know why people do that. This is preferred shares. They trade at a discount to common stock. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it's way more liquid. Everybody get that? Class A with the
I just checked to make sure I did it with the L today.
Like, Class A with the L. It is cheaper than without the L. This is preferred stock that trades at a discount to common stock. And it's way more liquid on options. There's no reason to be doing Class B. Okay. All right. So okay, so this is you're there. 1, 2. This is the third shot. So I think the next go, dude. The next go, you're gone. Where do you go to? Is that your question?
Yes.
Okay. 218. 218. So first stop 212s, give or take. On just this consolidation. 212s, extension up to 218. If since you're in the Pelosi position, right? Is that what you did?
She has 150 in the money calls. She paid.
But that's 50. What you took.
That's what I took, today.
Okay, so your target is 235 max, 220 first stop, and then you want to see it hover over 225, and then 235 is your primary target.
Correct. Yeah.
Did you say correct?
Yeah. Well, I'm just the premium I paid plus the strike is 210, so it needs to be above 210 by January.
Yeah.
2020. But 220-ish, 230 would make it profitable.
235.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So that, just so you guys know, again, this exercise, I feel like, you guys are starting to see, like, the matrix, how this works. It's very weird, right? Whenever you find that, but this is essentially doubling that consolidation down there. That takes it to just over 235. But near term, just this consolidation, and we do it for each one, just this consolidation should take it to that first stop, which is just over 210, right in this area. So you'll get a little bit of a pop maybe next week, and you get this kind of movement like this, and then it could come back because remember, stocks don't just go up in a straight line. And then you could see it start to consolidate like this. I believe that would be the trajectory. This is, again, next Tuesday. So it might be on its way to doing something like this by next Tuesday.
I think that cloud growth they're going to crush again, more than 30%.
Yeah, I don't have a question there. I just don't know if they're going to be crushing it. That if the market's going to reward them that much.
Yes.
Because it's a huge business. It's not just GCP. GCP is a great piece of that business. I've always rooted for them in the GCP world, but they've always also failed to deliver. Revenues delivered, but like actual in the weeds frontline delivery, I don't, and then now I'm further away from that world, so I don't really know that much anymore.
Yeah. Well, I also think the FTC is not going to be investigating them any longer in the next couple months.
True. And yes, GEV is absolutely smoking. I took my GE. What a loser. I sold some GE like a dummy. But to my credit, I did buy GEV. Remember, what was the other one? What was the other one, guys?
GE something.
Quanta.
Yeah.
These are mine. These are my babies. This is my never sell bucket.
Can we do some
chart, dude? Tell me that's just not like a thing of
beauty.
beauty.
It's absolutely beautiful.
This is better than Palantir.
Good chart. Can we do some spec names? Like people were asking for Soundhound and then the quants. Look at those.
How about we start with
guys, real quick, hold on. We cannot do Next. We already did Next, and Next is a long-term hold. There's no technicals on Next.
Yeah,
that we look at. That's
we could talk about Rigetti. So we talked about this on a prior stream. We talked about
if you need technicals on Next, you shouldn't be buying Next. like you know nothing about Next if you actually need the technicals on Next. You buy it and don't look at it for 10 years.
I said I had a little bit of Rigetti down here. I think you're okay. I think you start to trim if you have another green day tomorrow, though. I will say I don't know from a squeezy play. So we talked about this. This was like, okay, the shorts were definitively in my mind at that point using the Jensen dump as an opportunity to exit some of their shorts. We're holding 1350. So this was the key order block right here. And I think it was on, I think I posted this a couple times. So the quantum names for sure. Yep. Okay. So it was this level here, 1338. And so we talked about this on the last stream. This is going back as it was setting up 1150. So it's up to 18s, but I think you're very close to halfway there. You start to no more ads definitively, and you start to just trim out of a position. And then if you want to, you can leave a little bit and forget that you ever owned it. That's kind of how I do these. But I think a lot of the quantum names, OKLO, Sandwich is talking nukes. This thing is flying right now. This was actually a decent pullback. It's trendy, right? Energy is good. This is actually not a horrible. This is actually a decent looking chart right now. So these are super speculative. QTUM, right? No, so this is the whole quantum space. In its entirety, they've almost pulled back. Wow. The Jensen dump.
Yeah, dude, the Jensen dump.
Yeah, it's almost all the way back there. So look at this. So now, I mean, so clearly what this should tell you is that yes, so the shorts used this drop as exit liquidity. So now you've probably seen short interest. You'll probably start to see short interest rise again, I would assume, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Was he talking that whole time?
No. They're just the chats being the chat.
But so IonQ is like, okay, you got a good pop down here. If you added down here, look, you're up. You've almost doubled your money from down here to here, 70%. I mean, I get it. But what I don't get, remember, if you're trading, if you're in quantum names, I would assume that you understand that you're trading more than investing. I don't know. So if you don't feel the need to take profit, you're probably very light. But if you don't feel the need to take some profit and you're very heavy, I would really question that situation. Because you're up 70%. Like you just asked, am I being really greedy? Am I going to get my hand caught in the cookie jar? It's possible.
Right.
But I wouldn't say that you want to short it. Definitely not. I would say it's like you take like moments where like I sell a little bit, but I always you stay long. You keep an okay chunk on enough that like if it continues to go, you're not going to be upset because you had enough. But like if it dumps, you're also not going to be upset because you didn't have too much. That's where I'd want to be.
So do you think quantum is also pumping because of the risk on environment we're in? Or no?
I think it's the whole thing about AI and quantum in general. Before Jensen set the bomb up. Yeah, but look, you're 45 right now. You're pretty damn close.
That's
right.
Fair.
Like take the victory freaking lap. Right. Like be good. For a second. And you know, when Amit posted that thing, what did and then I came back in on Amit's post. He was saying, oh, quantum names are down like 50%. I was like, buy one, get one free, right? Like you got one for free. Now the sale's over.
That's fair. Jet says, told y'all to get the $5 puts on QBTS, bunch of pussies. Jensen's full of shit.
Is that the one, QBTS?
I love this. That's D-Wave. I love this.
Yeah. Look. So, okay, this is interesting. Of all the quantum stocks, the shitty this one is recovered the least. This should tell you something, by the way. If you're in IonQ, right? That's actually recovered the best. If you're in Rigetti, that's probably like second best. But then you're in QBTS, you're not fully there. Like the other guys are way ahead of you. So that should tell you something. Will this pop? Probably, dude, because there's the whole quantum ETF now, QUTM.
Yeah, that thing. Well, that's been around for a minute.
Yeah, but now it's a thing.
Yeah.
Just like the same reason why I'm thinking like why Apple won't go too much further down is because look at the market, dude. We're gonna get more net inflows. And who's the like crazy beneficiary of net inflows? It's Apple.
It's Apple.
Right. So I don't hate it here. But that doesn't mean it's gonna pop. What we're doing, Soundhound. Yeah.
No. Can we do? I know I just said can we not do? Can we do next?
Did we get a super chat or something?
Such a pushover, bro. No, I'm just a pushover. That's why. What's the TA on next, Jason? Please.
It actually went up, dude.
Yeah, it went up a lot. It went up like 15% since last week.
Remind me again what this is. It's LNG.
It's energy infrastructure for LNG. Yes.
No, that's all good. So this is SLOB, SLB, no longer Schlumberger. It's a J. I heard you call it. How did you say it?
I called it Slumberger, but then I called it Schlumberger properly after.
We just call it SLOB, and everybody will know what you're talking about. So and it'll be funny, right? Because that's the name on the street. It's SLOB. So SLOB is a good trade, actually. So this is oil. So oil services. How about we do this? OIH is the ETF that tracks oil services. So this is not producers or anything like that, but this is if we're going to drill, baby, drill. Here's the logic. If we're going to drill, baby, drill, who is the beneficiary of that? It's like your tankers, people that service the industry, not the commodities per se, but people that service the industry. Does that make sense? And this is the ETF in its entirety of OIH. Ready for this? I'm going to pull this back to a month and you'd be like, holy shit. So this is a big deal in general for OIH, the ETF. No, they're not the most fun stuff. Slob, I like. I've always liked Slob. I think it's probably of all of them, it's like one of the better. It's global. You have Halliburton also. That's more. Oops, I always says that. Halliburton's more U.S. focused, so this might be a better pickup. HAL, if as opposed to Slob. Slob got hit with the Russian stuff, so they have a lot more global exposure. So okay, cool. But NEXT is gonna be more like, sounds like more like your EOG, which would be your best of breed in the space. So this is EOG, this is natty gas, or Cheniere, which is just straight up LNG. That's holy shit, dude. Look at Cheniere.
That's probably why Next got a bid last week.
Yeah, so this is nat gas, natural gas, which I think that the NG is the, I think that the underlying commodity can come down, which what you would think like crude is going to come down, coming down today. So USO would be your ticker that tracks that. So I'm going fast right now. It's just overview. So I think USO comes down, right? But the companies that produce, this could be a potential dipper. A lot of people like Oxy this year.
Well, I think Buffett's part of the reason.
Yeah,
So
it's the risk. It's definitely like way low. VLO is probably a better producer, I think, in that area. So this Valero chart setting up a lot better for sure. CVX already had his thing.
So on Next itself, do you see anything unique in the TA or?
So I'm going over. So if I really want to get into something like this, I need to look at the whole industry high level, right? Understand what they're doing. So we just kind of went over it. It's that whole drill, baby, drill, fine. This is specifically LNG. We looked at Cheniere, right? It's way out there. We looked at EOG. That's probably your best of breed in that space. If I'm assuming that I understand this right. So this is EOG, this is nat gas. If Next is in that same category of so we've looked at the ETF of the oil services patch, then we've drilled down into some of the specific nat gas plays. We can look at EQT. So the whole cohort is doing good. EQT looks really good. Really, really good. It looks good. So then, okay, can Next get over whatever, right? I don't know the revenue size, what we can say. We'll go ahead and say this is consolidation. We'll say $14. 13.85
on Next.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's fair.
That's probably going to be decent. That's like a 70%.
When I was talking to Steve about this, because they're pre-revenue, he says this thing can tank back to $6 as quickly as they can move up. So
yeah, so it's 50%. So it's also small, but like when we do like the sector analysis, if you will, right, which is what we just kind of went through, looked at what's going on in the sector, right? Why is it important? Who's benefiting right now? Looked at the oil services fields as a whole. If Next does something similar, then yeah, you should be able to benefit from the same theme that the market's showing and paying. The market's paying this theme right now. But if they don't deliver, sure. But I don't think it would get hit right now, even if it didn't deliver. Does that make sense? Because the theme is a thing.
Okay, what other tickers, guys? What else do we got? HIMS. Should we look at that one?
I liked HIMS.
Are you long HIMS yet?
Yeah.
When did you get in? Like 22, 23?
Yeah. Like nothing crazy. I was just like, all right. Not crazy bet, not super. Oh, dude, this thing, I hate that. Sorry. I'll show it up here.
I think we got like 30 minutes left, guys. So after HIMS, we'll get into rapid fire and try to get as many of these names.
So we talked about this on stream too, like 25s. I should probably look at Lily. I'm do you guys know if this is legit? So Lilly pricing coming down. This is rough. I don't know, dude. What do you think about this, Lilly? Fundamentally,
I don't care about pharmaceuticals, bro. They're not. I don't care enough to hold them. Maybe to trade them, I get it, but they're so boring to even study about the drugs and stuff. Like I've never been that interested into it ever.
they're hard.
They're hard, and they're not exciting to research, unless you're a nerd about biology, which is for some people.
If this is BS on Lilly, though, I would say it could be $1,000 stock again,
Oh, 100%. That's
which is still like 50% upside if it's BS, which I don't know. It's got that RFK Jr. shenanigans going on too. Like we don't really know what's going to happen. Like I was with Wolf. Do you guys know Wolf Goff? Like he was just, we're on a spaces the other day. He was going off. He's like short Moderna, short Pfizer. We don't need these companies. Like there's no reason because we're going to come out with like we're just going to be better, right? Like no red dye, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, it's funny, like, cause you think about it, and I posted something not that long ago. Yeah. This is so true. Pfizer's been in business for 170 years and hasn't cured one single disease.
That's kind of facts, bro.
It's not kind of facts. It's legitimate facts. So like, okay, they're hard. They're hard. Anyways.
Okay. So let's finish HIMS real quick, then we'll get to some of these.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so HIMS was good. So $25 was a decent retest. Like you're buying in this area. I think that opportunity is kind of gone. I like it in terms of like I think that people will still be buying this stuff. This actual general uptrend is intact. It's a little funky stock to trade because it's such a smaller market cap. It trades a little wonky like Celsius when they get this kind of lower float. So take the daily intraday stuff kind of with a grain of salt because you can see like a big red day, but it turns green. I think up here you're gonna run into, I mean, for sure, first stop is just slightly over 30, right? So you'd want to see it get clean over 30, and then you deal with the 33s. I think that's I don't want to say like a foregone conclusion, but the setup is getting better. Even if you get dips that come back in and hold this general area, I think even something like that still becomes like viable. I think this still is a thing.
Yeah, and look, Bank of America on Friday said they're going to miss on earnings, which is why they tanked. But
did they tanked on Friday? But then it got right back up and made a new high.
Yes, exactly.
So I think there's appetite in the market for these things.